So everyone familiar with Bleach knows about Aizen's big betrayal earlier on in the series, with the help of fellow Soul Reapers Gin Ichimaru and Kaname Tozen. And if you've seen any of my videos, you would know by now how horribly written and executed that whole thing was. But I want to introduce you to two individuals that I consider to be almost as detrimental to the Soul Society as Aizen and his goons. I'd go as far as even saying that one of these individuals is just as much of a villain, if not more so, than Aizen himself. The first is Captain of Squad 11 Kenpachi Zaraki. Kenpachi is quite unique both in terms of personality and position in the Soul Society. He became Captain of Squad 11 by killing the previous captain in battle. Squad 11 is okay with this, and it's kinda how they've been doing things for years before Kenpachi even showed up. I don't know why Yama or 46 would allow such a chaotic and barbaric system to continue, especially since this system allows any random asshole to show up to the Seireitei, kill a captain, and instantly gain rank, status, and power over an entire division in the Gotei 13. The Gotei, which is quintessential to the Soul Society and keeping the balance in the Bleach universe. I just couldn't understand why under any circumstance anyone would allow a system like this. It would only be a matter of time until an undeserving and/or insane person with sufficient enough power level takes the position and causes turmoil amongst the captains. I don't know much about the previous Squad 11 captains, but it seems Kenpachi Zaraki is the most unfit person to ever hold this position. For a while, it seems like he was following the rules of the Seireitei and fulfilling his duties of a captain, but Kenpachi loves fighting. So much so that he's willing to disregard everything and everyone for a strong opponent to throw hands with. And that includes disregarding his duties as a captain and Soul Reaper. When Ichigo and the gang entered into the Soul Society, Kenpachi stayed hot on their tails for a while, trying to find who among the group was the strongest. Obviously, it was him and Ichigo who ended up going toe-to-toe and having a draw. So far, so good. He hasn't done anything unforgivable yet, just doing his job, really. It wasn't until after Kenpachi recovers from the fight that he completely switches up. Or I guess you could just say he just does what he would normally do. Kenpachi, his lieutenant, and his left and right-hand man just decide to turn against the Soul Society. They fight other Soul Reapers and break Ichigo's friends out of Seireitei prison, all in hopes of allowing Kenpachi to have a rematch with Ichigo. Kenpachi is even willing to fight and kill other Soul Reapers and somehow doesn't face any repercussions for this huge betrayal. In fact, one of the captains he fights and nearly kills is Kaname, one of Aizen's most loyal goons, and he had this to say about Kenpachi.
So what's your point?
Ever since the moment you killed the former captain of Squad 11 and replaced him with Kenpachi Zaraki, I felt a deep unease about you. Unease that has become a certainty. A certainty that you're a demon, that you thrive in violence and blood, that you're different from the rest of us. And a certainty that you are bound someday to destroy the peace. And sure enough, now you have saved the Ryoka, and here you fight against us, threatening to bring even more chaos to the Seireitei. And it's all because of your insatiable bloodlust and your love of fighting for its own sake. Am I wrong?
I don't know about right or wrong, but I can see you sure have a problem when it comes to getting to the point. Enough babbling! If you hate me so much, then there's no need for speeches. Just shut up and attack me already.
No hatred. I never actually said that I hated you, Kenpachi. I simply find you unforgivable. Everything you do threatens the peace we have worked so hard to establish here. So in the name of justice, I now have no choice but to erase you.
Kaname.
Well, that basically sums it all up right there. I think despite Kaname himself siding with Aizen and betraying the Soul Society, he's 100% right about Kenpachi, and how this guy got away with all this and is still a captain is beyond me. I would imagine what Kaname says about Kenpachi isn't lost on the other Gotei members. They should all already know this to be true about Kenpachi, but they just allow it anyway. My best guess is that Kubo didn't really consider that what Kenpachi was willing to do to the other Soul Reapers at the drop of a hat, also he could fight an invader, was absolutely unforgivable world building wise. Now believe it or not, this next character is much worse than Kenpachi, and just as bad as Aizen. He's captain of Squad 12, Mayuri Kurotsuchi. And what can I say other than this guy is a complete piece of shit. Literal bottom of the barrel Soul Reaper and should be tried and executed for what he's done. I know that sounds a little too harsh, but hear me out. Mayuri's all around pretty weird, and he's really into science, but it's what he does in the name of research and curiosity that makes him such a bad person. Years prior to the start of Bleach, there was something of an extermination event. The Soul Reapers killed a bunch of Quincy's because their killing of Hollows disrupted the balance that the Soul Reapers were trying to keep and would eventually cause the destruction of, well, everything. Now, the Soul Reapers didn't just kill all the Quincy out of the blue. They did try to communicate with them and warn them of what they were doing, but despite the warnings from the Soul Society, the Quincy's continued killing Hollows and upsetting the balance. So the Soul Reapers basically just took it upon themselves to stop the Quincy by force. After this somewhat holocaust of the Quincy, the Soul Reapers mostly backed off. The few remaining Quincy mostly stayed to themselves and refrained from destroying hollows and further upsetting the balance, but the Soul Reapers made certain to always keep an eye on them. This is where Mayuri comes in. After he became captain and head of research and development, he bribed the Soul Reapers monitoring the last few Quincy's to turn the other way so he could kidnap, torture, experiment on, and even kill the last Quincy's. Yeah, this guy actually did that. And the age of the Quincy didn't really seem to matter to him. Didn't really matter if they were young or old, he still did this. How Uryu didn't snitch on this guy or was so cool with him later on in the series is again something I think Kubo didn't consider. So that's it, that's my list. The villains of the Soul Society: Sosuke Aizen, Gin Ichimaru, Kaname Tozen, Kenpachi Zaraki, and Mayuri Kurotsuchi. Bye.